Zoroaster is an opera by Jean-Philippe Rameau, first performed on 5 December 1749 by the Opéra in the first Salle du Palais-Royal in Paris. The libretto is by Louis de Cahusac. Zoroaster was the fourth of Rameau's tragedies and musique to be staged and the last to appear during the composer's own lifetime. Audiences gave the original version a lukewarm reception, so Rameau and his librettist thoroughly reworked the opera for a revival which took place at the Opéra on 19 January 1756. This time the work was a great success and this is the version generally heard today. Performance history. Zoroaster's premiere in 1749 was not a success despite the magnificence of the staging. It failed to compete with Mondonville's new opéra ballet Le Carnaval du Parnasse. Rameau and Cahusac decided to rework the opera completely before offering it to the public again in 1756. Acts Chapter 2, 3 and 5 were heavily rewritten and there were several modifications to the plot. This time audiences took to the opera, although the critic Melchior Grimm was withering about Cahusac's libretto. In Zoroaster it is day and night alternately, but as the poet cannot count up to 5, he has got so muddled in his reckoning that he has been compelled to make it be day and night 2 or 3 times in each act, so that it might be day at the end of the play. Zoroaster was chosen to open the new Paris Opera House on January 26, 1770, the old one having burned down in 1763. It was also translated into Italian by Casanova for a performance in Dresden in 1752, although some of Rameau's music was replaced by that of the ballet master Adam. Its first modern revival was in a concert version at the Schola Cantorum, Paris in 1903. The United States premiere of the opera was staged by Boston Baroque at Harvard University's Sanders Theatre under conductor Martin Perlman in 1983 with Jean-Claude Orliac in the title role and James Madeleine as Abramani. Libretto and music. Zoroaster includes some important innovations. It was the first major French opera to dispense with an allegorical prologue, and its subject matter is not drawn from the classical mythology of Greece and Rome, as was usual, but from Persian religion. There was good reason for this. As Graham Sadler writes, the opera is a thinly disguised portrayal of Freemasonry. Cahusac, the librettist, was a leading French Mason, and many of his works celebrate the ideals of the Enlightenment, including Zoroaster. The historical Zoroaster was highly regarded in Masonic circles, and the parallels are obvious between Rameau's opera and an even more famous Masonic allegory, Mozart's The Magic Flute, with its initiation rites conducted under the auspices of the wise Sarastro. Roles. Synopsis. The synopsis is based on 1756 version. The story takes place in the ancient kingdom of Bactria and concerns the struggle between the forces of good, led by Zoroaster, the founder of the Magi, and evil, led by the sorcerer Abramani. When the opera opens, Bactria is in chaos after the death of its king, who has left behind 2 daughters, Amelite, the presumptive heir, and Erenice. Both are in love with Zoroaster, who is devoted to Amelite. Abramani has taken the opportunity to send Zoroaster into exile. The sorcerer also plots to seize the throne with Erenice, who wants revenge on Zoroaster for rejecting her love. Abramani conjures up demons to capture Amelite. Zoroaster is in exile at the palace of the king of the good genies, Oromeses. Oromeses tells Zoroaster to go and rescue Amelite and destroy the forces of evil. He puts Zoroaster through a magic initiation ritual to prepare him for the task. In the dungeons of the fortress of Bactria, Abramani and Erenice are torturing Amelite to force her to renounce the throne. When Zoroaster suddenly appears, He releases Amalite and destroys the fortress with his magic powers. Amalite is presented as queen to her joyful Bactrian subjects. Night, Abramani and Erenice quarrel over the disaster that has befallen the plans. Abramani hides Erenice in a cloud. At dawn, Zoroaster, Amalite and the Bactrian people assemble to worship the Supreme Being, then celebrate the marriage of Zoroaster and Amalite. As the wedding ceremony takes place, Abramani arrives on a fiery chariot and kidnaps Amalite. Zoroaster prepares his magic spirits for war. In the temple of the god Ahriman, Abramani receives news that the battle between the spirits of good and evil is going badly for him. He sacrifices to the god and summons up hate, vengeance and despair. Erenice, now repentant, warns Zoroaster of Abramane's plan for a new battle. Abramani appears in the fiery chariot once more and reveals Amalite in chains. He calls on Zoroaster to surrender. Instead, Zoroaster calls on the gods, who strike down Abramani and his evil priests with thunderbolts. The opera ends with rejoicing as Zoroaster and Amalite are crowned king and queen of Bactria. Recordings: Zoroaster Collegium Vocal Gent, Le Petit Band, DII, Sigerswald Q Icon. Zoroaster Les Arts Florissants, William Christie. DVD, Zoroaster Les Talons Lyrics, Christophe Rousset.